British than South African. And I'm currently living in London, actually. I left Berlin to move to London. But, yeah, let's get this all sorted out. So our lanes matched up. Vlad versus Cho'Gath in the top lane. Udyr versus Shen in the jungle. Lux versus Morgana in the mid. And, of course, Vayne and Ezreal in the bottom lane. And two slightly unorthodox support picks coming out from Nassus and Blitzcrank. Now we see Fnatic going very, very deep. Dark Binding doesn't manage to catch anybody, but the rocket grab does. Move it, fails the flash, and Nassus immediately gives up first blood once again to Vayne. 4 supports across the board, and so unlucky there. Move it through the flash out, but it was just too late. They did not manage to get out of range, and grab pulled him back. Dark Binding lands onto Fantasy. Flash! Rocket Grab works. Cleanse immediately. Means he can get away. But that is a flash blown as well as the Ignite from Peke. No other summon spells just yet. But a beautiful, beautiful start from Enrated. He's landed 2 great Rocket Grabs already. And we'll see how this plays out. So Vayne, where is she at the moment? Picked up an attack speed dagger actually. So maybe not enough gold to go for the Doran's Blade, which is the case, and decides not to sell anything, and does decide then to go back. So we'll see how this lane plays out right now, and hopefully this will be an interesting battle between these teams. Vayne 1-0-0. It's going to counterplay that slow start that she has. The additional attack speed definitely going to help out. Amazing, rocking out the Phoenix stance jungle path. Gonna go for a smite pull on this one, it looks like. Actually, yep, does decide to smite it. Didn't get a very hard pull from Vladimir. And, yeah, the game sort of resets. Oh, beautiful Dark Binding from Peke. A lot of early damage onto JshyayceIWC, but it's been traded fairly well. The Lucent Singularity goes down as well as the auto attack. Parking the passive, that Illumination Flare. I'm gonna keep an eye now on this bottom lane. Enrated Rocket Grab almost catches Ezreal, but just misses him. A very, very nice start to this poke from RaidCall. He's put some Silver Bolt damage as well as that tumble. There comes the slow. Now going to carry on chasing. Let's see how Enrated does. If the Rocket Grab is ready, he may actually 3 seconds, 2 seconds plus Ignite. They may be able to get even more kills. Previous game, oh, the Rocket Grab just misses. Look at the damage. Auto attack, plus the tumble damage. And it's just a very, very volatile lane. Enrated's mana barrier has been blown. So he's going to need to wait for that mana to regen or wait for the cooldown to come available before he's safe, as it were. Shadow Dash Taunt does manage to catch onto Vlad. He Sanguine pulls underneath the Rupture. Feral Scream is available, but does finally go out. Soaz goes in. No Ignite. Rupture! Flash away from Young Buck. Sign is going to carry on chasing. Finally decides against it. In the bottom lane, Nassus and Ezreal pick up a kill onto Blitzcrank. Ignite is ticking. Nassus gets away with 5 HP. RaidCall is all of a sudden the man in trouble, and he's forced to flash to safety. He still has Cleanse available. If Ice Fantasy can jump in with a Mystic Shot or similar, maybe can turn that one away. But Blitzcrank going down. Now, in the middle lane, Exhaust is down. Light Binding, Bear Stun starts. Phoenix is ticking away. And IWantCookie pick up 2 kills fairly early on, giving it to the right people as well, Lux and Ezreal. And we are in for a game. We are in for a game, ladies and gentlemen. Immediately coming back. Now they're going to jump onto Cyanide. Passive proc is ticking over. Red buff is there as well as the blue buff. A very nice Rupture from Cyanide, but he manages to get away to safety. The slow onto Udyr was just a little bit more powerful than he had counted for. And all of a sudden 2-1, but a high octane, high action game. And we're going to see how this goes. Rocket Grab onto the creep just to secure it. I don't know if Blitz was really trying to actually snare anybody or just, securing that creep kill. But Vayne picking up a cloth armor this time around. 10 CS 10 to the 26 of Ezreal. All of that pressure, all of that poke on the bottom lane, trying to put pressure onto Nassus, trying to put pressure onto the Ezreal, ended up resulting in getting him killed. Losing all the farm, so it's worked out negatively for them at the moment. I'm going to keep seeing how Mover is leveling up his champion. So Spirit Fight, 2 points into it, and just a single into Wither. Going to be maxing that armor reduction, going to be maxing that damage over time. It's going to end up pushing the lane, which is a negative, But if somebody gets caught in it with a slow or a stun, loosen singularity from Lux or a stun from Udyr, it's just going to allow the mana to be reduced. All of that up in the top lane. Vladimir does get killed once again from a very, very nice lane gang from Cyanide. He snuck up into the bushes, landed Rupture, landed Feral Scream, and it was enough time with the silence and then the taunt to keep Vladimir in place before the Sanguine Pool could go off. So really nicely done. So even the score's up 2-2. Cho with a kill on the board, Vayne with a kill on the board for Fnatic. And very early boots of mobility from Cho'Gath. We'll see if that actually converts into more kills or not. But we know Cyanide, he does like to go those mobility boots. He does like to play a gank-heavy style of jungle and a movement-heavy style. And it really works with Cho. He clears faster. He's got a lot of auto-attack damage from his Vorpal Spikes. If he puts the Rupture in the Feral, good clear time. And he decides to open up with an Oracle's Elixir. Shen, with his 2 assists and 40 creeps, goes recurve bow first. It is slightly different to what we're used to seeing. We do tend to see the GP10s. So it's a bit of an aggressive start in terms of itemization. Vlad, realizing he's a little behind on that top lane, and the GP10 is just going to help him get to that mid to late game stage a little bit safer and a little bit smarter. Enrated with the rocket grab. I sense that was that could have been a bait for the rocket grab actually, because Cyanide is there and it looks like maybe they were. Let's see how this plays out. Now they're going to jump onto Mover at the silence, flash into a knockup. A Rupture needs to land, it jukes past the Rupture. Now they're going to turn their attention to Fantasy. There's no red buff for Cyanide and Reckles has taken so much damage. He needs to be careful. But yeah, that was a very, very nice juke from Fnatic. You can see they've been playing the mind game just as much as they've been playing the actual game for mechanics and basics, because they intended that failed rocket grab. They tried to bait Nasus and Ezreal into that engagement. Unfortunately though, the Rupture, the Feral Scream just wasn't enough to hold them in place, and Reckles just was too low really for that engagement. How are we doing gold wise? 2,000 gold in the hands of Reckles to 2,300 in the hands of Ice Fantasy. He manages to juke past that rocket grab with a very subtle sidestep. And the game has just slowed down now. The game has just slowed down now. 7.5 minutes, 2-2. We haven't seen too many ganks. We've seen Vayne going very, very low. Mystic shot and Nasus damage is just, it's really hitting. True Shot Barrage goes out. Reckles forced to flash to stay safe. Now Ice Fantasy, he pulls a little bit of tower aggro. Here comes Stand United from Shen. He's going to pull him in place. That's going to be at least one more for Reckles. Reckles is now trying to set up a killer. Condemn manages to land the stun. Immediately cleansed out from Ice Fantasy. He picks up the double. Can he pick up the triple onto Cyanide? Cyanide realizes he can't really go in a toe-to-toe, especially now that Shusha is here. They're going to consider this dive. The light binding misses entirely. The singularity, however, does hit. Now Udyr is here. When he gets the stun, we'll see how this plays out. Silence. Ice Fantasy is going to get dropped in the background. Ignite is there. Now we see the Soul Shackles. Is it going to be enough? Laser picks up a kill. Morgana with a double kill of her own. And all of a sudden, the middle lane becomes the bottom lane. And they end up trading in total 3 kills for 3 kills over the course of that. However, Ezreal comes out ahead. He is 3-1-1. BF Sword already completed. And he's already in control of that bottom lane. And he's just going to be stamping his authority even further now with that additional damage. But I really like what I'm seeing out of these two teams. Both playing aggressive, both playing for the dives, and both responding very well to the dives. Both Morgana and Lux were in that bottom lane incredibly quickly. So very, very nicely done. This is a best of 3, and the pressure is on IWantCookie. They cannot afford to lose, because if they do, they go out, they play second, and they take home absolutely nothing other than getting the recognition of defeating Moscow 5 and then dropping out in the final. That's all there is to it. Reckles forced to use Tumble to get away. Ice Fantasy going very, very aggressive. Arcane Shift as well as Mystic Shot. Trades pretty evenly. Vayne down to 50% HP. All of a sudden, N-Rated is now thinking about picking a fight here. Move it, forced to... Well, he forces N-Rated away, actually. Blitz versus Nasus. It's going to go in favor of Nasus. He's got the damage over time, he's got the slow, and his ultimate is going to give him a big chunk of HP. Gains 300 health. And on a support champion that can offer a slow, that can offer some damage, especially when you consider that's damage over time, hey? 3% of nearby enemies' maximum health every second. That's a very, very useful thing to have on a support that deals damage. It's something that is a little bit rare these days. It's not something you see very often. So, Vayne, double Dawns, working towards her Zeal, and then potentially Phantom Dancer, as we have seen in all previous games. Unfortunately, 25 CS behind, as well as going to lose this tower. There is very little that they can do right now against this incredibly powerful Ezreal. True Shot Barrage goes out. Both players manage to juke past it. And Udyr has managed to sneak up here. We see some blue pings over a Tribush. Nobody knows that they're there, though. So we'll see how this tower down plays out. Will Fnatic start to force some team fights and maybe try use the Cho'Gath and Shen to their team fight composition, or are they just going to allow Vayne some time to farm up some items? A very defensive Dark Binding manages to catch amazing. Rupture lands as well. Rocket Grab pulls him back. Let's see how this plays out. Immediately blows the static charge, but Vayne isn't really brave enough to chase just yet. Does not have Zeal, so didn't want to go in too deep. It was a 4 versus 4, and Blitzcrank was forced out very, very early. The thing is, Morgana had Soul Shackles available and a needlessly large rod, so I don't see why she didn't go for the engagement, why she didn't go for the fight. Nevertheless, 5-5, 1,500 gold. IWantCookies are in the lead right now, on the back of superior farm as well as a tower. And the question is just how well are they going to convert this to the team fight? JshyayceIWC does get spotted by that ward. He's going to chase Peke. Listen, Singularity goes out. Dark Binding goes down. Now we're going to see the magic as the Soul Shackle has been used as well as Ignite. It's going to burn through the shield. It should be enough. Now the Nasus is there though. Will the Ignite damage be enough? One more creep. Is it going to land? It does land, but it's not enough damage. And Peke almost taking down JshyayceIWC. 25 HB. And he manages to get away with his life. Ice Fantasy just sidesteps that rocket grab, and he gets to safety himself. And look at the damage. Oh, look at that. Just stand still. A little bit expected. You actually thought that Ice Fantasy was going to try and avoid the Dark Binding or the Rupture. And he ends up not moving and dodges it anyway. So let's see how this plays out. Rocket grab once again missing. Enrated started well, but unfortunately not really converting it. Mana Barrier is out. 4 members of Fnatic against 3 members of IWantCookie, but they're incredibly low on life. And all of a sudden, the game is just slowly tilting towards IWantCookie. Rupture goes down, doesn't manage to land on anybody. In the background, Lux is looking to set up. Rocket Grab does land, but unfortunately means that the Dark Binding then misses. Loosen Singularity's out. If the laser hits, that's going to be a dead end rated, and it is a dead end rated. They were thinking about starting this dragon, but instead decided against it. Stand United has already been used. Okay, so Shen does not have that available. He's picking a fight that he can't really pick. Dark Binding catches onto Udyr. And IWantCookie are slowly taking control of this match. Every little step, every little kill, every additional ability is pulling them into a position where they can push this to a third deciding game. Now we're going to see Cyanide. He's trying to get in range to try and set up a kill. Forced to flash over the wall. Dark Binding does catch Nasus. He had used his ultimate. That's not going to be enough. And Vayne finally going to recall. She'll pick up probably that Zeal and either another attack speed dagger or potentially a Vamp Scepter. We'll see how he decides to spend his money. But JshyayceIWC 3-0-0. What an awesome start to this game. He already has his Athene's Unholy Grail completed. Sorcerer's Shoes in the bank, and the damage he's dealing is over 9,000. Yep, that's right. I went there. I don't really know how else to point out this game other than IWantCookies have just been taking little bits where they can. They've won the bottom lane quite convincingly. The middle lane Lux has picked up kills by ganking and moving around the map, but is technically losing out on farm. And the top lane, Shen has picked up 3 assists, so he is slightly ahead of Vladimir in that regard. Both teams have got tanky champions. Udyr, Nasus, Blitz, Cho, even Vlad to an extent will get a lot of HP, so while he may not build resistances just yet, it is going to play into his favor. The Light Binding does catch on Peke. Are we going to see the ultimate? That's what I'd like to see. Not available just yet, so that's why it didn't come out. But really good damage. Dark Binding catches onto a minion creep. Not onto the champion that it needed to. And Enrated is trying to... manages to catch the creep just barely. Feral Scream goes out. Dark Binding in the background. Mystic Shot for his troubles. And the amount of poke that they've got with this team. the light binding, the lucent, the mystic shots, even the ultimates to an extent. I mean, True Shot Barrage and Final Spark are not on high cooldowns. Enrated needs to land a grab here. He manages to pull Udyr. That's not really who you want to land. Now we've made a big engagement. This is 4 versus 4. Static Charge has come out. We'll see how Soaz does. If Ignite ticks away into YoungBuck, it may be enough to pick up a kill. It actually is. Morgana gets the credit for that on the back of her Ignite. Now all of a sudden, this is a great fight for Fnatic. They've picked up 2 quick kills. Lightning goes down, and look at the damage onto Rekkles. Oh, beautiful rocket grab. Dark binding as well. And Rekkles gets the killing spree bonus, which is definitely going to be helping him out in this engagement. And it may cost them a tower. If Ezreal and Udyr decide to stick on this, they should be able to close it out. True Shot Barrage goes out, doesn't manage to cancel any recalls. Nice fantasy. One auto attack. Look at that aggression there. Easy kill onto Peke. Easy kill. And he gets the blue buff. Peke should not have been there. He should not have stuck around that long. You know, a 3-1-1 Ezreal at the time with a Bloodthirster, it was not a smart move. So unfortunately he's lost his life. And he's donated blue over to Ez. So he's just going to get his ultimate and his spells available once more. And he's going to be moving around this map, you know, causing all sorts of havoc. Vayne, 540 gold, picked up that Vamp Scepter. Is now going to be working closer and closer to the Phantom Dancer. I think she needs 1230 odd gold to pick that one up. So it won't be too much further. And now they're giving red buff to Ezreal as well. He is going to be such a menace. 4-1-1 Ez versus a 3-1-1 Vayne. You know, a Bloodthirster, the buffs, and I think potentially a Zeal now. We'll see what he picks up. Ez is going to be offering more damage that Vayne is at this, you know, the next 5 to 10 minutes. But once Vayne gets to a position where she has a Phantom Dancer and Bloodthirster, or Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge, she's going to be able to out-duel and out-DPS Ez. The thing is, can Fnatic survive that long? That is the real question. To everybody that has just tuned in and joined, thank you guys for stopping by. This is the RaidCall Dominance League of Legends Invitational, where teams will be playing for $1,000 in a winner-takes-all event. Right now, Fnatic, as you can see, are 1-0 up. Panky was casting with me for the last 2 games, but unfortunately, due to some time constraints, he did have to leave early. But nonetheless, you'll be able to listen to the 2 of us tomorrow and at DreamHack later this week. Fnatic will be playing at DreamHack. I do not believe that IWantCookie are, but I would need to double-check that. And yeah, it's going to be a really kick-ass LAN and a kick-ass event. I'm looking forward to it. So, 4,000 gold. Let's see how those numbers mash up. There's the gold graph at the bottom of your page. You can see exactly who is sitting where. And for a couple of guys asking about Rekkles and asking where Lamia is, Lamia has left the team for quite a while now. Oh, look at the damage onto Xpeke. Laser just misses, but the Soul Shackles comes out. That was onto Peke, not Rekkles. He gets away with his life thanks to the Black Shield, and True Shot Barrage just barely missing. He threw down that Soul Shackles, got some life back from it, and that definitely played into his favor. But yeah, Lamia retired. He's moved to the east. And in substitution, I know Rekkles is playing the AD carry role for Fnatic. He will be with them for a while. I don't really know if it's 100% confirmed, or if he's full-time, or whatever the story is, but he will be with them for at least a good couple of months. So welcome Rekkles to the Fnatic lineup. And yeah, good luck, guys. So 7-8 up. Game has slowed down just a little bit. If that laser had caught onto Peke, it would have been yet another kill to JshyayceIWC. Athene's Unholy Grail and a needlessly large rod in hand. You see just how well it goes. Look at the damage there. Auto attack, red buff, and mystic shot. And Rekkles loses 20% of his HP. Dragon should be up fairly soon. So we're going to wait to see how this engagement plays out. And Fnatic need to start clawing these objectives back. They've got 0 towers on the board. They need dragons. And they need some global gold because they're 6k behind right now. Shen and Vlad are up in the top lane. Stand United is available if they decide to go for a fight. Very nice ward placement from Peke, so they're going to see JshyayceIWC falling back. They're going to know that that's happening. Rocket grab goes out, doesn't manage to catch anybody. You can hear the sound effect in the background. The thing is, the moment Shen uses that Stand United, it immediately means that Vladimir is going to take that top tower. And you can actually see that even though YoungBuck is a level below, he's got the damage, he's got the skill set, he can pick a fight wherever he wants. So have a look at the vision. IWantCookie do not know that this is happening. And we're going to see Udyr running into 4 members of Fnatic. If he gets caught, this could be bad. Black Shield is onto RaidCall. That may be a little bit early. Loosen Singularity, Dark Binding doesn't manage that, but a beautiful Rupture. Now a Taunt on the back of the stand United. RaidCall is going to be putting down as much damage as possible. A laser manages to go across a whole bunch of them, but Soul Shackles has been used. RaidCall is forced out of the battle. Now Enrated turns his attention. Fnatic are a little bit confused. You can see the champions. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to target. Somebody needs to take charge. Where are you boys going? They've decided to back off. They picked up one. They've lost the top tower. Vlad is onto the now inhibited tower turret, and they've got to be very careful. A very nice line fighting onto RaidCall. Look at this right now. Vlad has put a little bit of damage onto that top tower, but Fnatic cannot afford to just leave Vlad uncontested. He's just going to carry on pushing those lanes and picking them up wherever they can. Now, Lux and Ez are trying to tank out this dragon. And we can see Udyr is coming in. Now, if a Dark Binding lands, this could be good. Dark Binding does manage to catch Rocket Grab just short of range, but look at the damage onto Blitzcrank. He just gets melted. Mystic Shot and Final Spark, and there you go. That's one dead giant robot. Young Buck just steals away the red buff and carries on pushing. It's just AFK farm a la Hotshot GG. That's what we're looking at right now. Letting the rest of his team fight, and you know what? When they're winning fights, he can afford to, so you may as well leave him to. So, 8 to 9. So your items, a couple of big items are slowly being completed. I've just had a look at the gold. If anybody wants to see exactly whose gold is where, the numbers are down on the bottom of your screen. That's exactly who your biggest earners are. But the story right now, 1,600 gold between Vayne and Ezreal. It is such a big number. Lux and Morgana, call that, 1,500 gold. It's a big, big, big component for both of them that they are behind. Fnatic are in a bit of a pickle. A bit of a pickle. Nasus support 043. He hasn't exactly been in a position where you can say he's put a stamp on the game or he's really shone. I mean, that's a bit overly harsh because they did win their lane particularly hard. 4-1-2 airs, he out-farmed. They got a very early tower, etc. But I don't think he brings quite as much to the table as I would have liked to have seen. Nonetheless, we are going to start getting into these mid-game team fights. We've already had a few big 4 versus 4s, and it has worked out fairly well for Fnatic. They got 1 or 2 kills. They haven't lost more than they did to. True Shot Barrage. Final Spark is down. Cyanide is out of this fight before it's even begin. Now Morgana's jumped into the battle. Soul Shackles goes down. Does across a whole bunch. Morgana is going to be the first to fall. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Both AP middles are dead. RaidCall is forced to run back. Hemoplague is there as well. Stands United. Unfortunately, the rest of Fnatic is falling in the background. I'm missing all of the kills as Fantasy picks up double. Now he's going to carry on chasing down. RaidCall has gotten away with his life. It's a 1-for-3 trade. And Ice Fantasy got both of those. Fnatic simply got caught. They got burnt down so as his recall is interrupted. And this could be the first tower, inhibitor tower, maybe even inhibitor going down. Vayne's not going to offer a whole lot of defenses against these 3 champions. And it does look like it is actually going to go down. So, 24-minute inhibitor. Fnatic with their backs to the wall. They have a good composition if they can scale. But there's so much pressure on them right now. An inhibitor down, as well as all of this damage that comes out from Ezreal, the damage that comes out from JshyayceIWC, and the damage amplification that Hemoplague puts down. Are we going to see a Desperation Baron? We see some pings onto Ez and onto Vlad. There's not a lot of vision here. Fnatic going to chase. We'll see if they can catch anybody. Maybe if they get some CC. But my assumption is this felt like a Desperation Baron. Dark Binding goes out, doesn't manage to catch. Maybe if Fnatic get this, they can hold themselves in there. But 10,000 gold behind. 9,000 HP on Baron Nashor, and you can see there's the Rocket Grab being used. That's key. That's not going to play into their favor. True Shot Barrage and Final Spark is about to come in. Puts a lot of damage down. And look at that HP being chunked off them. Whoever gets caught by this slow is going to go down. A lot of damage was removed. Light Binding goes out, doesn't manage to catch anybody. Xpeka has jumped on. JshyayceIWC will go down to the Soul Shackles, which he does. Dark Binding onto Vlad. Now all of a sudden Vlad's the next one to go down. RaidCall is in a good position to put damage. Nasus has been Dark Binded. They're very, very low, but it is 5 members versus 3. And that actually turned out pretty well for Fnatic. They clawed back 2,000 gold. They fed a kill to Vayne. And that's not too shabby. You can't complain about that. Oh, look at this though. And then unfortunately, they decide to recall instead of running. I don't understand it. Why would you not just run? Peke throws up the Dark Shield. So he can't get stunned or will reduce some magic damage. But when you've got a Last Whisper Bloodthirster Ezreal on your case, it's very, very difficult to mitigate that damage. 12 to 12 on kills. 9,000 gold behind. Ice Fantasy with a fully stacked Bloodthirster. He's going to steal away this blue buff. And once again, that gold difference is back up to 10,000 gold. Fnatic, they haven't given up. They are still trying. And hey, everybody still keeps joining, so thank you guys for stopping by. If you have just tuned in, IWantCookie defeated Moscow 5 in their semi-final. Fnatic took out Alternates. And once again, we are seeing yet another Baron being started. True Shot Barrage and Final Spark is there. Or you just pulled Udyr forward. That's maybe not what you wanted to do. The damage comes across so many of them. First one to fall is Blitzcrank this time. Hemoplague is caught on 4 members of the team. Dark Binding misses. Look at that damage. Stun goes down onto Soaz, but Amazing was left alone. Nobody else chased him. Beautiful damage onto Pekka. So he's the first one to fall from Fnatic. This is 2 down after. They're going to steal! Steal from Cyanide. He comes over the wall. Manages to get it with, was that Feast? No, it was a Smite steal actually. They stole the Baron buff, so that's a huge chunk of gold in their favor. The problem is it only landed onto Shen and to Vayne, so that's not ideal because the rest of their team were dead. But they prevented that buff going to the members of IWantCookie, and Cyanide, yet another Baron buff steal to his name. We see him doing it time and time again in so many different tournaments. The problem is, it's too little too late. This is IWantCookie's game to throw. They are so far ahead right now. 2 inhibitors in their favor. A 7-3-1 Lux, 8-1-5 Ezreal. The damage is just so immense across them. And you know what? Even if you blow them up, Vlad can kill you. Udyr can kill you. Even Nasus, if left unchecked, can put some damage down, especially with his ultimate. And he's got his natural lifesteal, he's got his on-hit Q, and he's got a Zeke's Herald. He's also going to be doing some good damage. So you really, really, really cannot count out any member of IWantCookie. 2 kills advantage, but that doesn't tell the story. So much gold, so many plays. And really, really nicely done. So, one last fight coming up. We'll see how this match goes. On the back of a 35-40 minute team fight, maybe Fnatic can force down lanes, if they've got inhibitors up and try to get something like that, then that'll do well. But truthfully, it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible. My money is on this game going to a decider, going on to the 3rd and final match. And it'll be the first map that Fnatic will have dropped all day long. So yeah, really, really good game thus far. 30 minutes in, 28 kills on the board, at least 1 per minute. And Cyanide, Soaz, the only member of Fnatic to have not died yet. Warmog's completed. Looks like he's working towards a Guardian Angel. That is my assumption. But is it going to be enough? That is the question. Move it. Places a ward down. There's no vision for Fnatic just yet. Rocket grab just misses. And when you're this far behind, you need those rocket grabs to land. You need to be able to pull somebody back and make those gameplay changes. But on the back of an 11-minute defeat, IWantCookie have struck back and struck back hard. Rocket grab, they've caught Lux. Is it going to be enough though? Lux got the ultimate out, as did the True Shot Barrage. Now the Soul Shackle is down. Immediately JshyayceIWC is removed from the fight. He cannot offer anymore, but Vayne is down. Now follows Cho'Gath. They've turned their attention to Peke. This is the GG game. This is the GG win. 4 members of Fnatic are down. They're just going to dive in with the super creeps. We are going to a decider match. Soaz is getting slowed from the red buff and from all the damage. Bear stance onto him. Ace for Fantasy. And a surrender from Fnatic RaidCall. Ladies and gentlemen, one more game to be determined. One more game to find out who is going to be crowned the victor of the RaidCall dominance. And it's $1,000 on the line, guys. So